Fetty Wap just dropped gems in a recent interview after serving 4 years in prison, and the conversation he had and the mindset that he's on needs to be talked about. What's poppin'? It's your guy DJ Foreign, man, reporting live from Aruba. Yeah, man, out here in the islands, taking some R&R time, a little quick weekend getaway. Apologies if the podcast did not drop in time this past week, but we're back on track this week. Just took a little vacay and just getting back into the swing of things, all right? Shout out to everybody, of course, as always, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, and, of course, share this and hype this video. Fetty Wap, man, came out of prison and recently did an interview with the Breakfast Club, I think 2 days after coming out of prison. This guy served 4 years in prison. 4 years in prison, man. If y'all remember Fetty Wap, what was it, 2013, 14, 15? This boy was running the radio. He was running the charts. This guy could not be stopped. He was such at a high height that this guy was doing shows with the likes of Drake. He was doing world tours. He was doing summer jam. That's when back at my old radio station used to do summer jams in the city, and that dude was the headliner. I mean, Fetty Wap really made a name for himself. I mean, even the likes of who's old girl, Taylor Swift. That guy was doing records with her, sharing the same stage as her. Yeah, Fetty Wap definitely had a run, a long run, and almost seemed unstoppable at one point, but like everything else, all good, all bad things must come to an end. Found himself not really doing too many hit singles or getting too many hit singles. And then found himself on the bad side of the law, where he ended up getting caught up in some BS that had him locked away in prison for about 4 years. Now, once he came out that interview, Fetty Wap did one with the Breakfast Club. And in that interview, I mean, they talked about everything, right? How's he going to get back into music and, his career and things like that. But one thing that really stood out to me, one thing that really stopped me in my tracks was him talking about the importance of time. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But not just time as in him getting time taken away, 4 years of his life. Not as in time where he talked about how blurry his ascend into stardom was. I mean, come on, we talking about 6, 7, 9, My Way, all of them joints, man. He had a run for a few summers. And when he had to sit down for 4 years, it put time into perspective. And I respected Fetty for this, not only for what I want to talk about right now, which is spending time with the kids. That was the one that really hit me. That was the one that really stuck with me throughout that whole interview. Now, listen, as a father of 2 now grown boys, I can tell you how I relate with Fetty Wap, because Fetty Wap talked about how much he used to hustle out here, right? He used to hustle crazy. And while he was hustling, trying to make a living to feed his family, make sure his family was good, he missed out on a lot of good time with his kids. He missed out on a lot of quality time and being present for his kids. And he talked about this in the interview. I'm actually going to link the interview in my description below. So make sure you go check that out, because I think for anybody who has kids, it's a good conversation. A lot of us are chasing that dollar. A lot of us are chasing the check because we're trying to make our families better. But we don't realize that the people who need us the most, the people who are really yearning for our attention and our time, our children, often kind of go under the radar or not really neglected, because neglected is a strong word, but they kind of get lost or put to the back burner, which is not a good thing. Man, listen, when I was coming up, trying to grind my way into the positions that I was, whether it was a DJ or a radio host, it's a grueling task. It's something you got to be on 24/7. I've said this many a times. When the opportunities present themselves, you got to be on it 24/7. But there's got to be a fine line between busting your ass to provide for your family and spending time, especially with your children. Time passes whether you're present or not. So while you're here, outside getting that bread, making it work, working that overtime, because again, bills need to be paid. I feel you. These kids are expensive. I feel you. There's baseball, football, basketball, cheerleading, you name it, whatever sports or activities they trying to get into. We want to keep our kids active out here. Whatever hobbies they into, my kids are into all kinds of, especially my youngest, he's into, making beats and production and everything. And that's not I don't call it a hobby because he's really honed in on it, but that's not an inexpensive career choice. Equipment, software, all these things, computers, they cost a lot of money. And we got to try to make the money. But at the same time, when these kids are young, when they're, from some 0 years old to, I want to say into their teens, 14, 15, that gap right there is the most important time for you to spend with your children. And if you can, you got to be present for them. Fetty Wap talked about he missed out on all this time, not only in the 4 years, but just in building his career, building up his name. And one of the reasons he said he worked so hard is because when he was coming up as a kid, he used to get laughed at because he only had one pair, I think, of jeans or one pair of pants that he would go to school with. And the kids would bully him and make fun of him. Mind you, he already has a disability where he lost one eye to glaucoma, but they were able to catch it. He actually had glaucoma in both his eyes, but they were able to get it out of one of his eyes, and that's why Fetty Wap has only one eye, right? So on top of that, you're getting made fun of for being a kid who's probably dirty, stinky, broke. You don't really got much because, again, you're wearing the same pants every day, day in, day out. So he said, my kids will never be that way. I remember that. I grew up, again, in Kenya where, my mom did the best that she could. But, due to just the way the economy and things run over there, we weren't blessed with wealth in that manner. I had all the wealth in the world that I needed, which is the love from my parents, but we didn't have tangible wealth, right? And she did anything and everything that she could to make sure that we were good. But I said, hey, listen, when I have kids, my kids ain't going to suffer the same way. So I hustled my way into and made sure that I was always available for my job or the dream that I was chasing, which is, again, being a DJ because I love DJing and also radio. Like Fetty's case, he was chasing to be the rapper, which he succeeded in doing. But something suffered on the other end, right? Something suffered on the back end, which is, again, time with his children. That time passed. Once time goes, every second that we live, history just happened 3 seconds ago, 2 days ago, a week ago, a month ago. You can't get that time back. So we're here just, grinding. The kids don't pause. Yeah, they don't stop growing. They birthdays still come. Moments still come. Memories still come. Certain parts of the foundation and the development of a child still happens whether you're there or not. Adolescence, kids go from being babies, from diapers to walking to speaking to learning to, again, becoming adolescents and all that. Those are all stages of life that a young person goes through. And if you're too busy trying to make money or living or trying to not be broke, which, again, I understand, you're missing those steps. You're missing those fundamental and important levels that this kid goes through. The next thing you know, you got a grown teen in front of your door. Perfect example, me and my oldest son, when he got to about 16, 17, 18, and if you've had a 16, 17, 18, or have one, then you know exactly where I'm going with this. They hard-headed, especially boys. They hard-headed. I can't talk for girls because I didn't have none. But boys, oh my God, they'll test you, boy. And, it becomes a tug of war because here goes a young adult who's grown into manhood who think they know the world. We were like that too, right? When we were young, we were just the same. We thought we knew everything. You can't tell me nothing. Because, children are used for the last 15, 16 years. You've been fed. You've had a roof over your head. You've been given anything that you want. You've never really suffered or had to work super hard to get to where you want. So you think, oh, life is easy. What? I've lived 16, 17 years. What are you telling me, Pops? I could go do this. So me and my son butted heads a lot. And that's not saying that that's uncommon. But for me, I felt like it was a little bit more of headbutting because I wasn't there and I wasn't present as I should have been because I was out getting to that bag. I was out grinding. I was out hustling. And as he grew older and I grew older, I realized that presence has a cost too. Because here's the thing, kids are not, they didn't choose this life. We essentially chose it for them. We laid down in bed, we conceived a baby came, was born to this earth, and it's our responsibility, it's your responsibility as a parent to make sure that that kid is the best, not only physically, mentally can be the best that they can be, but also a good person that we're putting out into society, because they're a representation of you. They carry your name, they carry your legacy, right? So it's our responsibility to make sure that these are good human beings coming into the world. You get me? And sometimes when you're not present for your children, again, that range of presence could be big and far between. You could be physically there, but you could not be there emotionally the way they need you. You might think money might, like Fetty said, money doesn't do anything for these children. I would even go a step further and say that these kids, until they get to maybe 15, 16, 17, they don't really know what money's about. They don't care about it the way we understand money to be, you know? Yeah, they're gonna say, yo, I want these Nikes, I want this thing, I want this, I want that. But I don't, you know, the mindset or the understanding how even money comes to be is not really in a lot of these youths. You might be one of those parents that, you know, teach your kids financial literacy from a young age. And honestly, I encourage everybody to teach their kids that, because they're not teaching it in school. You know, teach your kids about credit, teach your kids about, you know, especially in America, teach your kids about how credit can affect your life and how, you know, how a credit score on a piece of paper can make them look at you a different kind of way just because of that, right? So financial literacy is a big thing. But I don't feel like anybody under 15 really cares about money or even thinks about it the way an adult does. So to them, money is not really a thing. I could swear that if you sat down a bunch of kids and said, yo, would you rather have $1 million or time with your parents? I would go out on a limb and say 99% of those are going to say we want time with our parents, because what my children need, money can't buy. What your kids need, if you're parents to young children, what those kids need, it's not fancy toys at Christmas or on their birthday or all these other, no, they want quality time. You ain't got to go book a trip out to Aruba, let's say, or go out to, you know, spend thousands of dollars to go to Universal or Disneyland or something for them to feel special. No. You could sit down with them, read a book with them, play a game with them, play Uno with them. You know, me and my boys, we play Uno a lot. It gets treacherous on that Uno table, you heard? Because I'm merciless, you feel me? But, you know, these little things that we don't think about is what they care about. And that's what your kids are. Again, I'm talking to all parents, honestly, who give a damn about their kids, but more so the ones who have young kids and you just find yourself on that grind 24/7. Make time for your children, you know, because after a while, they're going to be all grown up. I miss my kids when they were innocent, you know. I miss my kids when you know, I was their whole world. You know, as a parent, you miss those times when kids just looked at you and they were like, damn, ain't nothing better than that person right there. That felt good. And knowing that I was responsible for them made me even feel better. Again, I was physically there, but when football time came, or, you know, he had to go to a basketball game or something like that, and I'm getting a call here that I gotta go travel, do this, I gotta fly to this to go DJ here, or I gotta go get a bag here, and you know, I'm thinking to myself, I bet. So, you know, the rent's due, mortgage due, these basketball shoes cost a lot of money, I gotta go do that. If you ask my son, he probably would say, like, yeah, there was a gap there where me and Pops wasn't really getting along eye to eye, because I wasn't around as much. He wasn't around me as much. I wasn't around him as much. And because of that, I mean, naturally, you're just not going to know everything that's going on. Add to the fact that, you know, me and his mom break up. He's staying over there for, you know, X amount of days, comes and stays with me for X amount of days. all that plays a part in how, you bond with your children. Now, if your situation is not that and you're there, it's two parents in the household, make it happen. If it's not, it can still work. But what's important is that you spend time with your kids. What's important is that you're there for your children. Another thing that I loved about why Fetty talked about this on such a big platform like the Breakfast Club is because here was a young black father being vulnerable and saying, yes, my success came to a detriment by losing time with my children, but I want that back. Because he talked about wanting to take these kids and completely immerse himself into his children. I think the question was, what do you feel is going to be your redemption now that you're back out of prison? And anybody would have thought maybe he was like, I'm going to get back into the lab. I'm going to make sure I don't make those mistakes again. He said, no, time. What prison taught me is that time is valuable. And the time with my kids is a must. I have to have it. Now, listen, he has a few women that he's had children with. Some of them, they've gone on social media and blasted him and, he's going back and forth or whatever it is. Like, it got messy, and he stepped up. I mean, this guy I was amazed at his interview. Number one, physically, he looks grown. Like he's been in the gym and all that. He was hitting the block while he was out there, right? Hitting them weights. But you could tell mentally he grew up. He said that too. I was a child back then. I was a kid, I was immature. I was just spending money. I was a young man trying to make it with millions of dollars from the hood. And, I didn't think. I just ran with the fame and all of that. But he's now home, like I said, a black man who's saying that he wants to be part of his kids' lives. That's coming from Fetty Wap on such a big platform, an amazing thing for me. Because too many times, black men, black fathers, always get looked, have this stereotype that we're not there for our children. Some aren't, and for those, if you are watching this and there's a relationship that you need to build with the person who comes from your blood, your veins, don't let that relationship sour. Don't ever let that, I don't care what's going on. Listen, I know. Me and the mother of my children, when we initially broke up, it was really bad, but we got to a great place. We kind of like my oldest says it because he kind of witnessed a lot of our arguments and stuff when we were together. But he says, you guys are better off broken up. You guys are like the best of friends. I can call her for anything I need or the kids need. She can do the same for me. We are truly friends. Even the term baby mother, baby daddy, like, to me, it has a derogatory tone to it. Almost like if I call you my baby moms, it's like me and you are not cool. If I hear someone say, yo, that's my baby dad, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't got a tight relationship. That's kind of like how it rings into my brain, right? So I try not to use that word as much as I can. But, even if you and the mother of your children or the father of your children don't get along, there's ways that you could do it. If you got to go to court and have some things put in place, or you got to have visitation with your children, go ahead. Because I've seen fathers out here. I know fathers out here who think that, just because the relationship between them and the mother of their child is so traumatic, it's just completely not even there, that they feel like, okay, because of that, I can't see the kid. I've been around that. Close people. I've seen what it does. Like I'm not even talking about my kids. I'm just seeing from examples that I see every day in life. I see how not being around your child and not spending time with your child affects children, because all children want to be loved. While me and my son were kind of going through it in his teens, his younger brother, who's 4 years younger, I started taking a mental note and being like, okay, I need to be involved here a little bit more. I need to be more present. I need to be here when he needs me, not just financially, but even just, physically. And that's why I really support his career choice as trying to be a DJ. He's going into college next year for musical arts and all of that, and mastering and production. And, and my oldest, again, we catching up. And I don't want it to seem like we really didn't have any time together, but there was a period of time where, because of our beef, because of our clashing, we didn't really see each other a lot. We didn't even speak to each other a lot. You know, again, he's a kid going through hormones and all these things, and he's becoming a man, and you know, he feels like he might have been wronged, and sometimes I would listen to the things he said, even though in the moment it was about, let's say, a bottle of water, something simple. But in underneath, you got to listen sometimes to really hear what somebody's trying to tell you. And I could hear it like, yo, you know, I miss you. I miss spending time with you. And so I started to change those things. Kids don't want your grind. They don't need it. They don't need it. They don't need your grind. They don't need your money. They need you. Find a balance. Sometimes it's hard. Bills got to be paid. I understand. We got to work 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jobs just to make it, especially in this economy. But your time needs to be there. Nobody's telling you to go quit your job. Nobody's telling you to quit everything and just, you know, not make money no more. But you have to commit to being present in your children's lives, especially if they're young. If you're young, if you're a parent with young kids watching this, trust me when I tell you, these young years is when they develop into becoming the human beings that they're more likely going to be when they grow up. And you play a big part in that. So being part of that kid's life is important, especially if you're a father and you got a son and you got a daughter and you ain't seen your kid that much. Don't do that to your kid. That's your bloodline. Don't do that. They didn't ask to be here. Don't do that. It's not fair for them. Give them a fighting chance to be something in this world. And the only way they're going to do that is to get their love from both parents. Again, y'all might not talk. You might be in a situation with you and the mother of your kids, the father of your kids are just in complete turmoil. It's complete toxic. You do not have to communicate with each other. There's courtrooms and court laws and courthouses y'all could go to settle this thing. If you can't do it amicably between y'all, I'm not a big fan of getting the government into family business. But if it's come to a point where things just ain't shaking up, things ain't fair, then maybe that's the next step that y'all got to do. But the priority is the children. The priority is spending time with the kids. Fetty said, I'm going to take my kids everywhere that I went on my tour, Aspen, wherever it was. I'm going to spend time with them. I'm going to show them a good time. Y'all want to sit here and just watch Avatar? I'm doing it with you. Whatever you want to do, I'm spending it with you. And I got to salute that man for that. That's a powerful message coming from an influential Black father. So I'm going to leave y'all with this, man. When it comes to your kids, spend time with them. Time is one thing that we're all going to run out of. Everybody runs out of time. And the people who love us the most are the ones that feel it first, especially when they're yearning for that time. So if you ever get the time to be present, take it. It's a guy, DJ Foreign, signing out. Listen, man, this is how we doing it here on YouTube. If you're just locking into the YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification button, share this video, hit up the hype. Let's get it up on the hype charts, on the hype videos. If you listen to this on audio, I appreciate you. Wherever you're listening to it at, come join us here on YouTube too. I would love your subscription, all right? Y'all be good, y'all be blessed. Take care of each other, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm gone.